affordable. Those services must be faster. They must be more personable and comfortable for the citizen.
Watch Building a Better Public Sector, a 4-part docuseries right here on CVM, commencing April 5 and aired every Sunday in April at 3 p.m. Brought to you by the Transformation Implementation Unit.
Jesus Christ loves you, and greater love hath no man. Because of his love, he opens the way. He opens eyes, ears, and minds. Open your heart and experience General Conference of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints and feel his love. Greater love.
Thanks for joining us for CVM News at noon. It's Wednesday, April 1, 2026. I'm Giovanni Dennis. Up first, Young Jamaica, the youth arm of the governing Jamaica Labour Party, is calling for East Central St. Andrew Member of Parliament Dennis Gordon to resign amid a growing tax exemption scandal. In a statement on Wednesday, the group claimed that a company linked to Gordon, Jackden Limited, benefited from the alleged unlawful use of tax exemptions granted to the University Hospital of the West Indies. The matter was discussed during a recent meeting of the Public Accounts Committee, where it was revealed that items imported under the hospital tax-free status were reportedly transferred to the private company. Young Jamaica argues that the arrangements has potentially cost taxpayers millions of dollars and notes that investigations are now underway by the Integrity Commission and MOCA. The organization says given the circumstances, Gordon's position as a Member of Parliament, PNP Region 3 Chairman and a member of the Public Accounts Committee are no longer tenable. It's also criticizing opposition leader Mark Golding, accusing him of failing to take action and questioning his commitment to accountability. Young Jamaica further condemned what it described as attempts to silence media reporting on the issue. Education Minister Dr. Dana Morris-Dixon says the government is taking steps to strengthen Jamaica's construction sector with a new training facility planned for the West and expanded support for aspiring contractors.
We know the West was damaged severely, and there are a lot of reconstruction projects there. And we need to have the workforce. So what we're doing, we have a school of construction in Portmore, but we need to have one in Montego Bay. So we're going to be opening a school of construction in the West to increase the talent pool of construction-related trade persons in the West.
The Kingston and St. Andrew Municipal Corporation, KSAMC, is moving into an enforcement phase after wrapping up its signage regularization campaign. Businesses that failed to meet the March 31 deadline could now face the removal of illegal or non-compliant signs. KSAMC says it has already mobilized the teams and equipment to begin the crackdown. Chief Executive Officer Robert Hill says action is imminent.
Today, it's March 31st. The last day of the sign concession process, which would have started from January 1st and ends today, March 31st. Tomorrow being April 1st, we now move into our enforcement action.
The national budget debate continues to spark strong discussion in the Senate, with opposition Senator Cleveland Tomlinson raising concerns about what he describes as a lack of a clear and credible vision for Jamaica's economic future. In his contribution, the senator warned that many young Jamaicans are losing confidence in opportunities at home and are increasingly looking overseas for a better future. He also questioned several government project announcements, arguing that many lack timelines, budgetary support, and clear plans for execution.
I listened carefully to the government's presentation in the lower house, hoping to hear a clear and compelling vision for the future. A vision that would speak directly to those Jamaicans who are willing to be on the run in another man's country than to stay in the land of their birth. Having listened closely to the Minister of Finance in her presentations, I came to the conclusion, Mr. President, her presentations fell short. They did not set out a clear path to address the structural challenges that have held this country back for decades, which would help to improve the lives of Jamaicans. And with respect to that second observation, Senator Morgan, it turns out I was not alone in that conclusion. In particular, there was a series of announcements that were put before the country. At first glance, the list is ambitious. It speaks of infrastructure, investment, and transformation. And to be clear, Mr. President, there's nothing wrong with ambition. But ambition must be matched with credibility. Because when one examines these announcements more closely, a number of concerns arise.
The Senator also raised questions about the government's proposed National Reconstruction and Resilience Authority, NARA, while acknowledging the need to improve how major projects are executed. The Senator warned that creating a new body may not fix deeper systemic problems within the public sector. He argues that the issue is not just slow processes, but weak institutional capacity, misaligned systems, and a lack of efficiency.
The government has indicated that NARA will have accelerated powers in relation to approvals and procurement, and FAST Jamaica will facilitate large-scale investment through expedited processes, including, in some cases, direct engagement with investors. While the speed is important, it cannot come at the expense of transparency and accountability.
In the meantime, Opposition Senator Ramon Small Ferguson, in his contribution, argued that Jamaica's fiscal challenges did not begin with Hurricane Melissa, but were already building beneath the surface. The senator says the country's financial position has been supported by temporary measures, one-off transactions, and revenues that have drifted from their original purpose. He pointed to billions of dollars in non-recurring inflows, including airport securitization deals, which he says have masked deeper structural pressures in the economy.
The truth is that
the government has indicated that NARA will have accelerated powers in relation to approval.
The truth is that, Mr. President, despite what the government would like you to believe, in the years leading up to Melissa, Jamaica was already showing signs of underlying fiscal weakness, and I'm going to get into it. These were not always evident in the headline numbers, right? And clear in how the fiscal accounts were structured and some of the policy choices. Right? But there are a number of elements, in some respects, masking the weakness, and I'm going to speak about some of them. First, there has been in recent years, Mr. President, an increased reliance by the government on revenue measures introduced as temporary responses to specific circumstances, but which have been retained and normalized as permanent features of our fiscal framework.
In other news, a young Jamaican is being recognized for his outstanding achievements in aviation and the positive impact on his community. Jabari Brown, who emerged top among over 100 trainee pilots, was honored by the 10,000 Men and Families Movement and Spanish Town Ministers Fraternal. He and his mother were both awarded for their exceptional contributions.
I am proud to present this award to Jabari Brown. Jabari, we're proud of you, Jamaica. 100 pilots went up to win a jet, and you came out as the winner. This award is presented to Jabari Brown for outstanding youth leadership, discipline, and positive community influence, and exemplary service in the field of aviation.
The National Fisheries Authority, NFA, says the annual close season for spiny lobster begins today, April 1, and runs until June 30, during which fishing is strictly prohibited, adding the period is critical for reproduction. The NFA is warning that any person or entity that intends to store or export spiny lobster after the first 21 days of the close season must submit a request to the authority on or by April 15, 2026. The NFA says storing lobster without proper declaration could result in penalties. Offenders risk fines of up to $3 million or 2 years imprisonment as enforcement measures are stepped up. 6 people, including 2 children, have died in road crashes since the weekend. 5 were on motorcycles and 1 in a car. This brings the national count for fatal collisions in March up to 14 and fatalities to 15, according to the Traffic Analysis Unit. Although this is almost a 50% drop in road fatalities compared to the same period in 2025, Vice Chairman of the National Road Safety Council, Dr. Lucian Jones, says it's a complete disaster.
We absolutely need right now the rollout of the demerit point system. We absolutely need right now increase, even now with what the police are doing, vigilance in respect of people driving under the influence of alcohol. We absolutely need the entire country to be mobilized to make sure that those on motorcycles use a certified helmets.
And of course, we'll be following up on this story when we come back from this break in CVM News at Noon. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Is fast, easy, flexible, and costs less. Oh, entrepreneurs, let's go digital! The government of Jamaica and the European Union present Digital Jamaica Training Series. Learn how technology grows your business. Choose the right digital tools. Manage your staff, customers, and money digitally. Data security and privacy. Artificial intelligence. We'll be in every parish. Apply online. www.jbdc.net. Log on fast. Digital Jamaica. Powering connectivity for MSMEs.
Welcome back. We're continuing the news. New data from the Traffic Analysis Unit shows a marked reduction in both fatal collisions and road deaths across the island. Between January 1 and March 31 this year, a total of 54 fatal crashes were recorded, down from 84 over the same period last year. Road fatalities have also declined, with 61 deaths so far this year compared to 93 in 2025. That represents a 34% decrease. However, despite the overall decline, as we reported earlier, 5 new fatal collisions were recorded at the weekend as authorities continue to urge motorists to exercise caution on the nation's roads. We are now joined by Commanding Officer at the Public Safety and Traffic Enforcement Branch, Senior Superintendent of Police, Lloyd Darby. SSP Darby, the latest figures show a decline in road fatalities. From a law enforcement perspective, what has been driving this reduction and how much credit goes to policing strategies?
Right, good afternoon, and good afternoon to all the road users out there. And so the Public Safety and Traffic Enforcement Branch continues to use its strategies in reducing road collisions and road deaths. We have so far this year embarked on a strategy that specifically targets the motorcycle category of road users, because we have seen year on year that this category is the most problematic. It contributes mostly to our road deaths. So while our pedestrians, the private motor car drivers and pedestrians also contribute, the motorcyclist is most significant. And so far this year, 17 motorcyclists have been killed on our roads. This compares to 26 this time last year. And over the weekend, you spoke about the 5 deaths. 5 motorcyclists died over the weekend and into yesterday. And so we continue to encourage motorcyclists to wear their helmets, to perform driving on the roads in a responsible manner. We see motorcyclists doing wheelies, stunting in and out of traffic all across Jamaica. And that is what is contributing to the crashes and the deaths.
A follow-up on that regarding the motorcyclists, SSP Darby, we also note a lot of times we're seeing them without helmets as well and other safety gears. What, if anything, is the JCF doing to kind of mitigate against that? They seem to be doing that at free.
Right, we're doing a lot of work in that regard, and we're partnering. We just completed a 3-day workshop with the Jamaica National Foundation and its affiliate groups, including local and international bodies. We did that training with police officers, and it was also done with civilians, with the motorcyclists themselves. And so it's a lot of work to break the tradition of not wearing helmets and not wearing the approved helmets. But we have a lot of plans in place. We are doing a lot of enforcement activities in regards to the motorcyclists. We are also doing that moral suasion and public awareness around the whole issue of motorcycle deaths. And that is why we believe we have this reduction that we have now. However, we know that this is very, very fickle because it can rise at any time. And so we continue to use even other avenues to reach out to the motorcyclists to encourage safety.
Yeah. I mean, we continue to see speeding, impaired driving and poor judgment cited as major causes of fatal crashes. Why do these behaviors persist despite years of enforcement and public education?
Right, that's a good question. Speeding really maximizes an impact both for the persons inside of a vehicle and for the persons outside if it crashes into another vehicle or into pedestrians. And so we continue to do our speed checks. Speeding is one of the most tickets that is written on a daily basis right across Jamaica. But the citizens continue to speed. I always encourage persons, even if the speed limit is 80 or 50, if the conditions does not permit, then you also have to reduce to a safer speed, a speed that encourages defensive driving. We want persons to be aware of what happens to other road users and to know that it can also happen to them. And so the enforcement and the encouragement continues. At this time, we are seeing a 31% decrease as it relates to deaths on our roads. We have 62 compared to 93 this time last year. This is something we want to maintain. We are aiming for that ambitious sub 300 road fatalities for 2026. It has only happened 7 times in 51 years. From 1974 to 2025, we have only had under 300 deaths on our roads 7 times. We want 2026 to be the 8th time. The police alone, however, cannot do it. And we implore the other agencies that have responsibilities in the whole safe road user dynamic to get on board and to do their part. Also the citizens, the road users themselves, to be very aware of the situation that is happening and to really save their own lives.
Yeah, as we head into this Easter weekend though, traditionally over holiday periods, especially a holiday weekend, we see accidents increasing. What specific operations or deployment strategies will PSTEB be rolling out across the island?
Yes, holidays are always problematic. People do a lot of traveling. They travel distances to see loved ones. We have a lot more parties than usual. A lot more alcohol is served. And so we have managed situations like this before. We have come out of holiday periods with minimal incidents. We aim to do that this holiday period as well. And so we are mounting speed checks at what we call the bad spots, the spots where frequent fatal accidents occur. We are mounting speed checks because we can't be everywhere, and so we plan to be where it matters most. We are also mounting deliberate breath testing operations in the vicinity of events.
As you speak about that in terms of what you're implementing, can you give us a sense more broadly then of how technology such as speed radars, those breathalyzers that you spoke about just now, body cameras or surveillance are being used to improve compliance and support prosecutions?
Yes, we use those devices. We need more. We don't have what we need, but as I said, we strategically deploy in the areas that matters most. And so our body cameras are being used for public interaction with persons. The breath testing devices, as I said, we'll be setting them up we have already started. We have arrested 30 persons so far this year,